All right, let's go ahead and make ourselves another mural. So first things first, I'm going to go ahead and make a sketch. I'm going to bring it down flat on the z-axis. So what that looks like if I have this in orientation is, you can see that whenever I made my sketch plane, I selected the one that's going to have the Y and the X on the bottom. This is just going to be the orientation of your 3D printer, so you don't have to flip things around as much whenever you import things into the slicer. So that's going to help you out there. I'm going to go and select the top, and then I'm going to go ahead and go over to my line tool, and I'm going to do 900 divided by 2, because ultimately I want this patch to be 900 tall. And now I have my line, which is all the way at 900, all the way up there. So, or not 900, 450. So now I'm going to go ahead and type in 900, and it will now be 900 from top to bottom. Now, something funny that we realized with the 12 Swiss mural is that not all patches are made the same, and we need to go ahead and make sure that the width of this stays consistent with the widths of other patches that we have. So for reference, I'm going to go ahead and open up this 12 Swiss. All right. And let's go ahead and go to the top so we're facing it straight on, and I want to see exactly how wide this is. So an easy way to do that is I can just go ahead and yeah. I'm just going to go and create a sketch on top. You could do the inspection tool as well, but I don't think it's going to give you as accurate a picture. So this is going to be, all right. About 663. So I'm just going to go ahead and say 670. So cancel. Let's go ahead and see what inspect does for us, because I can go ahead and select this outside and then this outside, but I'm pretty sure it's going to be, yeah, it's going to be the closer points of this, so it doesn't really give you an accurate picture. It says 652, and we said that it's close to like 660 something, so all right, good to know. That's all that I needed you for, so don't save anything on that. I don't really care. So now I'm going to go ahead and make my width, which is going to be 670 divided by 2. Not 67. There you are. And then 670. There we go. So that's the width of what the image should be. So now I'm going to go ahead and insert a canvas from my computer. Actually, yes. I'm going to insert it from my computer. Let's CAD load. All right. Go to your pictures, find your image. Hey, look, it's the 33rd. Yeah. And now you need to go and select the face that you want it brought on. I want it brought on this face. Then I'm going to go and expand this until it fits the proper dimensions. All right. Well, will you look at that? I'm going to go and bring this down. Yeah. Looks like the width is just about perfect. The height could use a little love and affection, but you're not going to be able to notice that in the final product. So I'm just going to go ahead and try to get this as centered as possible. I think that's good. So I'm going to go ahead and select OK. And now that that's done, I no longer need my guides and references. They're just going to get in the way later on. And you're going to have to scale the body anyway once you get done CADing it, so you don't have any of those leftover little nicks of the hexes. I'll go and show you what I mean by that later on. But for now, I have this canvas of what I'm going to sketch. This is the proper size in Fusion 360. And now I need to go ahead and make my SVGs. So I'm going to make an SVG out of a reference like this. Well, it's going to be pretty simple. I'm just going to open up GIMP, and then because we have such simplistic colors, it should be pretty easy for me to make a black and white image of this, in which case I'm going to go ahead and use Inkscape to go ahead and make the SVG of it. So let's go ahead and fire up that GIMP. And there you are. All right. Let's go in colors, and then I'm going to choose threshold so I can go and get a black and white image. Now you can see it actually cut off that red portion that I need over here. So I need to go ahead and scale this so I get everything included. Oh my goodness, will you look at that? Wow. That looks perfect right off the get-go. I love it when patches are simple and they don't have any fades and such. It makes my life so much easier. Okay, I'm just going to scroll a little bit more to see if I can get any better clarity. You know what? I actually like whenever I scroll it over a little bit, so I'm going to go and keep that. I don't really lose any other details. I do start to lose some details in the hands, if you can see that. Okay. The best area for it then is going to be right about here, right before it cuts off the red. So I'm going to go ahead and click OK. And then I'm going to go ahead and export as, and I'm going to say that this is going to be exported as a PNG. If you hit save as, then it's going to try to save as a GIMP file. You don't want that. You want to export it as a PNG. Then you want to have some kind of distinguishment behind it. So I'm going to say BW for black and white, export, and alrighty. Sweet. And that's just how simple it is to convert it into a black and white image. Now I need my good old trusty Inkscape. Alright. Next down there, drag you up here. Alright. File, open, and then I'm going to go ahead and select my black and white patch. Okay. There we are. And now, I have this patch. Oh, I do have some fuzzy bits on the outside that I really don't like. That's gonna make a lot of artifacts later on that I don't want to have. It's going to make my extrusion a lot more difficult. So, never mind. I'm not done in GIMP yet. So, let's go ahead and how am I going to get around this? Well, I could very simply inverse the colors. There we go. Inkscape will be none the wiser. It will still be just fine. Ooh, I really don't like how unstandardized that is, but it's fine. Ooh, yeah, those white dots in there are not gonna fly. The eye is all good. The eye is all good. Okay. So I got some artifacts in here as well, and a few up there. None in the X's, so that's good. Alright. Well, nothing for it but to paint it. So, that being said, this is my paintbrush right here. It's currently on size 260. That is way too big. 30 is still too big. I'm thinking more like 4, to be honest. Let's go ahead and see if I can do that real quick. Yeah, 4. Yeah, that's going to be a lot more manageable. Sweet. Okay, I'm already selected for black, so I'm all good. If you need to make a selection up here, you can go ahead and inverse the colors. Right now it's set to black and white, and then if you click on it, you can also change it to very pretty colors. But I don't need that for my applications, so I'm just going to go ahead and go through, tidy things up, because otherwise all these little white specks are going to create artifacts later on that are not going to be conducive to our SVG process. So real quick, the easiest ways to navigate around in GIMP is going to be just using your mouse to drag and drop, and then if you want to go up and down, you can use the scroll wheel. Oh, Control Z. And another tip that I'm going to offer up to you is don't use large strokes whenever you are making these images. Don't continue to go forth and hold the mouse button down. Because if you do that, then your Control Z is going to be a lot more difficult. What I mean by that is whenever you do try to undo a small little mistake that you made, you're going to undo the entire drag that you just did. And that's going to be a drag, and you don't want that. Okay, now remember there being a little bit more on the hood, if I'm not mistaken. Yeah, right there. And then up top. Bada bing, bada frickin' boom. All right. I like your cut, G. Let's go ahead and get this going. File, save as. Good thing is I already have the name. Oh, wait, I just hit the save as. Hey, look, I tried to save it as a GIMP file. What do you know? Export as. And then I already have this black and white right here. Export, bada bing, bada boom. Yep, I want to replace you. We are all good on that one. Export, perfect. Okay. Now, back to Inkscape. Much better. Okay, so now we have a black border, which is going to be a lot easier whenever I'm trying to define the path. So I'm going to go ahead and tell this image, hey, I want to go and trace your bitmap. And then after I select the image, and you can tell that it's selected because I got these little arrows right here, just go ahead and click on the image and then click on this window over here. Select update, and it will go ahead and show you the image of what you are trying to make an SVG of. I'm going to go ahead and click OK. And then now it has only selected the SVG that we just created. So I'm going to go and drag that SVG over. I'm going to go ahead and select this box again, and then I'm going to select the large. I'm going to go ahead and delete, and then I'm going to select this and drag and drop my SVG over here. I don't see any problems with the SVG. Maybe it's a little rough right there, but I think we're going to survive. Okay. That is all that I need to do over here. I'm going to click File, Save As, and then Save As is going to automatically save it as an SVG, as I can see down here. And I am under Pictures, so perfect. I'm going to go ahead and save it. And then my job is done over here. All right. Now I'm going to go ahead and insert this SVG. Let Fusion load. I'm going to select this plane, and then I have my image. So I'm going to go ahead and bring it up and scale it appropriately so that it is over my reference. Now it's kind of a pain because your scaler is over here, this is over here. That's because whenever we did the SVG and such in Inkscape, this was the corner. That's why it's like that. I can't set it to the point where it actually works where it's in the center like what we did for the canvas. This is just what you got and what you got to work with. So let's see how we're looking right now. Ooh-wee. Just about, okay. After deselecting, I'm going to go ahead and scale this up by 1/10, see how far that goes. That is way too much, so let's go ahead and do 1/100th. And I can see that it lines up perfectly on this side, but it doesn't line up over here, so I'm guessing that I need 1 or 2 more hundredths, and then I should be all right. The distance between this over here and this over here looks to be just about uniform, so I'm going to go ahead and try to drag and drop it. Ooh, that is solid. Nice. Okay, that's perfect. I am cementing that. Now, why do we always want to have a reference image beyond the fact of it makes our life easier to see what levels need to be extruded and such? It also shows me what details I happen to miss. For instance, I'm missing this little reflection right here in the silver orb that we have. So that'll be a super easy fix and touch up. All I need to do is just enter back into the sketch. Oh, I am in the sketch. You silly Billy. Okay, so now all I need to do is create an arc, 3-point arc. Come on down in here. Man, that is a squiggity squiggity boy right there. Bam. And I can see that this arc is not nearly as uniform, so I'm probably going to have to break it up into a few. So first one is going to be right there. Second one is going to be from this point to this point. You could also use a spline for this. I just find that arcs are easier and more uniform overall. So I like using arcs whenever possible. And yeah. Perfect. All right. And that shows up. That's closed. That's closed. Sweet. All right. To be completely honest, this is supposed to be a perfectly spherical orb, and it's not. And it kind of drives me up a wall. Can I select all of this? I can. Okay. Okay. God dang, all these things are really borked. God dang, all those things are really borked. Okay. What to do, what to do. You know what? I have an intuition that I don't like it. This is few enough calories on my end that I'm willing to do this. I'm not willing to do all this bullshit in here. I would not expect for you to do it either. For just the outsides, though, I can use this time. I can use this time. So the first thing that I'm going to do is I'm going to try to get this all the way to the tippy top of the sphere, and then drag it on down. Get it right about in there. Okay, that looks to be just about even. I'm only using that as a reference. I can go ahead and delete it after. But I'm using this line to figure out where the midpoint is of this sphere. The midpoint looks to be right there, and I can see that it's a midpoint because I have that triangle that shows up. So I'm going to go ahead and select and then drag out. And sure enough, that is just about dead center. So whenever I let go of this and I go into select, this should close the rest of the sphere. Perfect. Okay. So now I'm going to go ahead and deselect. Selection. Okay. And then I'm going to try to just select this boy, delete him because I no longer need him. There we go. There we go. Now I'm going to do the exact same thing over here on this sphere. Okay. And then bring her on down right there. Do this. And you have a few different sphere options that you can use. I could also just do a 2-point circle and drag from top to bottom. There's really no reason why I didn't do this. I just thought of this other one first, so it'd be what it be. All right, that looks to be just about centered to me. So gonna go ahead and lock that in. Gonna go ahead and delete my reference. And now comes the fun part. Let's go ahead and start the extrusions. Oh. Yeah, not missing anything else. Those details are all good. Those details are all good. Cool. Okay, so top. And then I'm going to go and select everything from dragging and dropping from this corner to this corner. This is only going to select whatever is 100% in this box. And then if you drag and drop from this side over, it will select anything and everything that is inside. It doesn't really matter which side you drag and drop from. Whenever you drag and drop from this side, it's orange, so very nice. Solid, extrude, and I'm going to go ahead and extrude this -10 because we want the base of this to be 10. Why 10? because whenever you only extrude like 5 millimeters, which is what I would recommend for, you know, minimum extrusions of something that's going to be large, unfortunately 5 millimeters still means that whenever you peel it off the build plate, sometimes it tends to warp, and I really don't want that in a large mural. I want something that pops off the build plate super easy, so it needs a little bit more robustness. And to do that, I find that 10 for a base, whatever the base color is going to be, works out better. Now I also need to be thinking about how exactly I want to extrude this for the different colors based upon the constraints that I have of both the filament supplies that I have on hand and also what's going to look better on the 3D printer. I'm going to tell you right now, it would look a lot better if I actually have the red and blue portions of it beneath the black. Why? Because I have much larger areas of black, and then that blue and red, while it might be like slivers on top of the 3D print that may not come out fully, if I have the black on top, then it would be a lot more distinct and defined. There's a problem with that, though, and the problem with that is you would have to then make 10 millimeters of the base of the blue and red, which I know right now for the stock supply that we don't have nearly as much of that as we do the black. So, simply because of the logistics that we currently have, I'm going to choose to go ahead and extrude the black and blue up to different levels. So, because I have, I still need to see you. I still need to work with you. Now, because I did the negative, even coming over the face of it, I can still select all these items. If you find that you can't select anything that's underneath your body, which if I turn this to the side, you can now see that I have a body under it. Oh, that reminds me. Shoot. This is a very important detail. You want to go ahead and delete the outside oval, because when you try to extrude the hexagons later on, something really funky happens if it's not in what I'm going to say organic oval that you made yourself. So, with that being said, I need to go back into the sketch, delete that, and I selected all of it by just getting a small portion of it and double clicking. I'm really happy I caught this right now. Otherwise, after extruding everything else, it would have been an absolute pain. And then I'm going to go ahead and create an ellipse. All right, up to there, and then out to this side. You saw how I did that? I selected the center that I wanted. I went all the way up to the top, and now I'm adjusting the width of what I want. And that looks to be just about solid. Okay. So now I finished this sketch. Timeline is going to update. And I'm curious if it's actually going to extrude the exterior now or not. I'm going to guess not. Yeah, it didn't. So we only have the body on the background. So now I'm just going to go ahead and select the outside that I have. I'm going to go ahead and extrude that and then select the bottom. It's going to automatically know that it wants to cut 10, which I don't want. I want it to go ahead and join so that it's all a single body. And why is it cutting? It's cutting because it's actually passing through the body in the hood area, since this is all connected. Oh, nope, it automatically set to join. Good. Good. All right. Now my next question. Which one is going to be my second layer up? Do I want that to be... I think that my last layer up is going to be the white, just because I think that the gloves and the mask are going to look best extruded the most. It's going to be kind of awkward with this little sliver right here, but we'll make it work. So my second up is either going to be red, which I have these text for, and then blue, which I have these small details for. To save as much filament as possible, I'm going to go ahead and say that red is going to be my next up. So let's go ahead and make it go ahead and make it red, blue, silver, white. Yeah, I like that. Having this stand up a little bit more. Yeah, that'll be fine. So now that I've decided that, I'm going to go ahead and go through and select all my red. Oh, biscuits, this is all one thing. Oh, fiddlesticks. All right, well, never mind. I'm going to deselect everything, and I'm going to go back into my sketch. All right. So, let's go ahead and break this apart. Sweet. Break this apart. And you are already good. Do I need to break anything else? I don't think so, because whenever I hover over, this should just select the... Oh, it still selects everything. Why is that? Where are you still connected? Oh, on these outsides. Okay, okay. So, now I just close that off. And looks like I have a little artifact right here, so delete. And then make an extrusion right there. Sweet. And I think, with that being said, we should... Yeah. All right. Now we're cooking with oil. All right, so that's good selection. This is also a good selection. How about you? Perfect. Okay, finished sketch. This shouldn't affect the timeline too much. Everything should still be extruded in the exact same fashion. All right. So now go back through and we start selecting all of our reds. Oh, nope, not you. And also, I don't want you selected anymore. I'm so sorry. All right. Red, red, red. All those things good. Okay, sweet. Oh yes, and I also have you two little nidbits. Okay. So now I'm going to go and extrude this, and I do too. Now, why do we extrude every single layer 2 millimeters? The reason being is because the current settings of your 3D printers are set to a 0.6 nozzle, which has an extrusion height of 0.44 millimeters. 0.44 millimeters is really dang close to 0.5 millimeters, and considering to get a good top layer, we have 4 layers on top. 4 times 0.5 is going to be 2. So that's why we have 2, so that we can get nice solid colors while using minimal amounts of filament. All right, so that's taken care of. Now I need to do this blue layer 4, because I need this to be the next highest. So that's all set, that's all set. Call this all good. Sweet, sweet, sweet. Gonna go into there, gonna pick that really nasty ass looking globe. There's no other blue on this, right? Besides the border, but we'll deal with that later. All right, so extrude, make that 4. All right, join. All right, now you can see something really fucky-wucky happened. Something in here did not like that extrusion, and it's showing me that I have all these really weird faces and planes and such. You can very easily just go back into the extrusion. Make this 3.99. and it should correct itself. Now, you should also just be able to go into the sketch and hit OK again, and it will correct itself, but 3.99, you're not going to notice that difference. Okay, so now we go ahead and do this one. 6. Okay, and now we select all of our white. Oh. Make that 8. All right. So now everything on the inside has been extruded. I just need to extrude this outside. And for uniformity of all the other patches that we've done, I would say do it to 20. If you have a lot of extrusions on the inside, like what we had for the freaking 2 Swiss one, you might need to make it 25. It just depends on how much space you want for it. But for this one, since I only went out of this like 8 millimeters, making this 30 millimeters in total is going to be just fine, because you have 10 millimeters on the bottom, recall, and then I'm adding 20 to the top. That'll be just fine. Just fine for me. Hell, I could even make this like 15 and call it good. I think I'm going to make it 15 because 20 seems like a bit overkill. Okay, sweet. So join that, and then I have a single body right here, which has all the different extrusions in it. I no longer need to see my sketches since my body holds everything. Go ahead and hide you, good. I no longer need to see my canvas either. And that is what we have made. Pretty pretty. Okay. If I'm not mistaken, I can also go ahead and color this right now and then slice and dice it. So I'm going to go ahead and select A. And that's going to bring me over to appearance, in which case I can go ahead and take all of these things over here in the paint, glossy. Ooh, pretty pretty. And then whenever you have a open, if you just select whatever top you want, you don't even have to hold control. You just select the top, and it automatically knows you're trying to paint things. So I'm just going to go ahead and select everything that's supposed to be red, and then yeah, right there. Drag and drop this red. Ooh, yeah, looks solid. God damn. Okay, bring that over. Drag and drop. Oh. Now, you don't want to select the entire thing because it's going to lead to a massive pain. You only want to select the top pieces. There you go. And then I'm going to go for a bigger space right there. Perfect. Perfect. Now this one is going to... okay, this is the gray doesn't... okay, I can just use you then. That's all set. Now for the entire back and entire inside. Wow, that's really it. Okay. I'm going to go ahead and choose black. Ooh, colors coming together. Looking so pretty. Okay. Oh, no. I also realized just now that I missed this this extrusion right here, which is supposed to be white. No problem. I can go back through and help that. But for now, I'm going to go ahead and finish up this coloring. Okay. Da, 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 da. And yeah, all of these on the inside also didn't get colored, so I'm gonna have to go back through and do this massive pain. Okay. So now, oh wait, I want to deselect. I want to deselect. I want to deselect. I want to deselect. Please let me deselect it. Okay. I think we're good now. Bam, 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 bam. Oh, not blue. Not blue. Please, not blue. Huh? Yeah? Huh? Why? Oh, shoot. I, at some point, selected the entire body. Oh, crap. Can I just... Nope. Can I just... There we go. Okay. Yeah, so then you just gotta hover over the right area and then click. Alright, this 2 needs to be black. Alright, what else? This needs to be white. Okay, what else? Guess this needs to be blue. What else? Okay, I think that's it. So, now this is all loaded. I'm going to go back into my sketch. Okay, you are in the sketch, so finish sketch. Don't need to do anything with that. I just need to properly extrude this using this, highlighting this, and then going into here and extruding you to whatever surface the white is. So if I just hit extrude and then click on the white, it should automatically go. Do I want this to be white or do I want this to be silver? What does the patch actually have? The patch does actually have white, so I guess I'll just go ahead and leave it at that. Join. Then I have it selected. If I click on A and I still have that selected, it's going to know that that's what I want to select. And then bada bing, bada boom, and our first save, which I would not recommend. I would recommend doing this a lot more often. Okay. All right. So now we have our 3-dimensional patch, which is in perfect dimensions for what we want for the 3D printer. Now I need to go ahead and slice it up to that it actually fits on the build plate. And to do that, I am going to go ahead and hide my body real quick. I'm going to turn back on my origins, and I'm going to start to make a new sketch. And I need to go ahead and create a polygon, inscribe polygon. And this is very, very, very important. Do not make your polygon be facing this way. If you do that, it's going to be ununiform from all other murals that we've done, okay? I need for you to make sure that the sides are the part that are actually the flat parts and the points go up to the tips. That seems to be the way that we're making things uniform across the squadron, so I need for y'all to go ahead and follow that exact same convention. Now, from this side, I'm only doing the radius, but I know that the entire hex that I want is going to be 180 millimeters. So I'm just going to go and do 90. Select that. And now I need to have some way for myself to be able to select the inside to keep things and then have slits on the outside that I actually use to cut through the body itself. And I don't need for that cut to be very big. You make it too big and it's going to be pretty obvious in the final product. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to make this 90.1 millimeters, and that will be perfect. That's a bit of a pain to actually do this process, which is Control-C, Control-V, and that's going to go ahead and make a copy. If you can't do that on your end, then tick this Create Copy button down here whenever you select the Move button, and that will do the exact same. Now, the easiest way to do this, and the easiest way to go ahead and move your hexes so you can start to get a mat of them, an actual palette of these hexes, is to go ahead and select, right now it's over origin point. I zoom in to make sure that I'm getting the right dot. I'm going to select over here, and then now I need to go ahead and do target point, which is going to be over here, and then I do this one over here. Bada bing, bada boom, that hex is now moved, and it's over there. I click OK. And now I'm going to go ahead and select everything, Control-C, Control-V, and I'm going to go ahead and do the exact same over here. So click U, scroll out a little bit, zoom in, and then click on this outside over here. Perfect. Now you always want to do that zoom in just to make sure that you're actually selecting the right thing. If you don't select the right thing, you're just going to have a bad day. Control-V, And then I'm going to go ahead and... You're going to have a bad day because if these are actually like connected to each other and you only have that little itsy bitsy sliver, whenever you're copying and pasting up top and down below, it's just going to lead to more ripple effects that are going to hurt you. So always make sure you just take the time right now to make sure that everything is perfect so that you don't have to go back through and right your mistakes later on. So that's all good. And I don't need the polygon that's over here. If I unhide my body real quick, I can see that this side is going to be the only thing that touches. So I'm just going to go ahead and from this side, drag and pull over. And now it selects everything that it touched. I'm going to go ahead and delete that because I don't need it. And then I should have another line right in here that I'm going to go ahead and delete while zooming in. And perfect. Okay. So now I'm going to go ahead and hide my body again. I no longer need that as a reference. I'm going to Control-C, Control-V. I'm going to drag and drop points. I'm going to select the tippy top, click, and then I'm going to select the bottommost point over here, which is that, and perfect. Okay. That's all good. I no longer need this one over here, so I'm going to drag over and delete. I have some floating bodies over here, which are indicated by those white points. That means that something is not connected. Perfect. And then you know what I'm going to do? I'm going to go and flex a little bit. I'm going to flex a little bit because I can. I'm going to go ahead and select all the way on the outside and select all the way on the outside over here. And I'm going to select... Can I do everything that's up here? I can, but it also selects lines that I need. So I'm just going to go ahead and delete all of those top bits. Now show me my body again. Okay. That's all coming together just nicely. I can see that the tip of this is just barely over the line, which isn't ideal. I'll show you why here in a sec, but that's fine. I can just scale the body to do what I need it to do. So now I'm going to go ahead and Control V again. Oh, that changes the ripple effects, doesn't it? Okay, well, I'm just going to do that at the end then. I tried to show off, and now I regret everything. So Control V. Now I just regret everything. Control Z, Control Z, Control V. Now I just regret everything. All right, Control Z, Control V. All right, so now I'm going to go ahead and go up to the tippy top again. Oh, that's not the tippy top. I need to deselect that. And tippy top. Get on down here. Okay, that is all set. Okay. And now I'm going to go ahead and get everything that I can over here. Delete. And delete. And if I show my body one more time, that is exactly what I want to see. Except for these little areas down here. Why do you continue to move on me? Oh well, it doesn't matter. So I don't know why it does that. Why are you expanding? Why are you doing the thing that you're doing over here? Because that's kind of fucking me up, fam. Okay, well, regardless, I'll just go ahead and scale it down just a little bit to make sure that we don't have any chance of it going over this line right here. Because if it does, then you'll actually be able to see that chip out in the final product, and it looks like garbage. So I'm going to go ahead and scale the body down a little bit by deselecting this. Okay, so... Okay, how am I going to do this? I could just go ahead and hide this body, drag and drop this, delete what's up here. I know you can do it. Come on. Delete. There we go. And then I'm going to go ahead and select everything over here. Now watch this. I'm going to go ahead and create a mirror over, that's right, this axis right here. And I'm going to select OK. And look at that. I just saved myself twice the time. And if I unhide my body, that should be everything that I need. Okay. I'm going to go ahead and finish my sketch. And then I'm going... Zooming in one more time. Why? Why do you do that? I have no idea why it like expands whenever I zoom in. Anyway, I'm going to go ahead and... Okay. Select the entire body. I'm going to select S, which means shortcut, which is not what I want. Don't select S. And I'm going to go ahead and do scale. What's your shortcut? Oh, I guess it just doesn't have a shortcut. Well, that's fine. I'm going to do 0.995. How about 0.99? There we go. That's more what I want to see. All right. And now I don't have anything over those lines over there. I can see that we are all 100% in a safe distance from all these. And we are all set. So I'm going to go ahead and select OK. And now it's time for the extrusion. So I'm going to go ahead and hide this body. And then I'm going to select everything that's inside here. And I'm going to select extrude. Now, keep something in mind. We have two different sides to this because I made the other sketch on the origin. So I have some of it going through the top, which is going to be that 15 that I extruded. And then I have the 10 that's actually on the bottom. So I need to go ahead and be sure that the sides that I use are actually symmetric because I need it to go up and down. I could also use the two sides, but that means typing it in twice, and I don't really want to do that because I know a more efficient way. Just by selecting 20, I know that 20 is going to cut through everything. And instead of selecting the cut feature, I want to do the intersect feature. Now, why the intersect feature? Because I only want what those boxes actually pass through, okay? So I want for the little gap that I left in between everything to actually be the cut function. So it's not going to keep anything that's in those gaps, but it will keep everything that's within these hexagons. And these hexagons just so happen to fit on my build plate, so this is how I'm going to go ahead and slice and dice everything. I'm going to select OK, and now I should have a crap ton of bodies start to show up over here. Perfect. Okay. I don't have any stragglers. I don't have any that are outlying. Okay, okay, okay. Okay, okay, okay. I also really don't like how... I have this little lip right here. So I'm just going to go ahead and do myself a favor by, yeah, because these are uneven and I don't want that to actually show. So I'm going to go ahead and create a sketch. Right there. I'm going to go ahead and create an ellipse. Okay. And I'm going to go all the way down to you since you're the one that sticks out farthest. And I'm going to go ahead and go over here. And oh no, that won't work. It's fine. It's fine. It's fine. It'll work. It'll work. I don't care. So I don't like having this little type down here, but it'll have to suffice. Okay, so I now have all my separate bodies. Now I need to go ahead and make sure that I won't be suffering from elephant's foot while I am printing this. So I just need to go ahead and flip this bad boy around and be viewing the backside of this so that I can go ahead and make chamfers on it. Now, what is elephant's foot? Well, whenever you go ahead and print something, it's going to have a little bit more pressure on the bottom, which means that it typically expands a little bit more. And if I leave these to the point where they're all flush, you're going to be able to see like that little lip that's made on the build plate. And it's going to push these pieces away from each other so that you will have gaps visibly showing. So how do you get around that? You go ahead and add something called, actually finish sketch because I don't need this anymore. You go ahead and create something called a chamfer, all the way around these items over, these lines, these borders over here, so that you make enough space to accommodate for the elephant's foot that's going to happen inevitably, and then all your pieces will fit together 100% flush. So the way that I do that, and also if I would have kept that border that wasn't the border that I made before, this step would not work because it would throw all kinds of errors. Ask me how I know. I need to go ahead and select filters, and then instead of selecting all, I'm going to go ahead and deselect that. I only want to do body edges, and I only want to do the body edges that I can visibly see on here since I'm actually on the bottom of it. And then I don't want to have this select through because I only want these on the bottom. So now I have selected everything that I can see. I'm going to select chamfer, and I'm going to select, screw it, 2. Let's see what 2 does. Yeah, 2 is good. Okay. Now don't ask me why, but it doesn't actually select all of the individuals. So I need to go ahead and look here and see like what lines are still 100% straight, and then I can go through and just tidy them up a little bit by selecting them. Don't ask me why it does this. I don't know. I just know that you have to go through manually and correct all this because otherwise it won't work. Okay, okay. And I'm holding down control while I'm selecting all of these. Okay, and unless I'm mistaken, that's everything. So I'm going to go ahead and modify chamfer 2. And now everything is looking nice and uniform, except for you. Except for you. Chamfer 2. Okay, everything is looking nice. 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 Okay, we are perfect. So now it's just a matter of naming everything. I like to go in order because that just makes everything so much easier. For my selection, I'm going to go ahead and do select all again. And let's go and select this one. This is going to be 33rd one. I'm going to copy the name. 2. I know this is exhilarating, but you're going to go through for every single one of these and then rename it accordingly. 4. 5. And are you catching how I'm actually, seeing what the body is? It's because whenever I select whatever area the body should be in, I actually get a squiggly line underneath, and it also like highlights what it is. So then I know, because otherwise like it just cuts and makes a bunch of different bodies, and I'm not sure exactly what it is, but going through this way just makes everything so much more uniform. All right, so now 8. Oh, no, not 18. Not yet, not yet. 8. 9. And 10. So the reason why I actually copy and paste the first one is not just because of the first one, it's also because the majority of these are going to be your other numbers. So now, rather than typing in anything else, all I have to do is just hit the 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, and it will automatically do the 11, 12, 13, 14. So 11, 12, 13, 14, 15, 16. Oh, oh, oh. Come on. 17. 18. 19. And now we have to delete the 1 again. So 20. 21. 22. Oh, not 122. Jesus! 22. Come on. Come on. There we go. 22. And last but not least, 23. Perfect. Alrighty. So, now I am going through this and seeing if anything is looking too off for me. It really isn't anything. Hold on. Huh. They didn't have these things centered. Huh. Well, that's a coinky dink. I mean, the eyes are all good, right? Let's see if I can do this. So now that I'm zooming in on this project, I can see that these things aren't exactly centered as much as I would like. Let's see if that has any impact on the border that we actually have. So inspect, give me this distance, that's 59, and then inspect. Oh, that's 59 as well. Okay, so it's just the image itself that isn't centered. Okay. Oh, can't do anything about that. If this wasn't centered and I need to move this over, the way that I would do that is I would actually take this timeline and I would move it back to the point to where I just got done with my scale. Because I haven't done the extrusions yet. So I could actually just go ahead and take my body and move it from this point, move it over however much I would need to, and then I would drag and drop this, cancel, and then I would drag and drop this timeline feature all the way to the front, and it would save everything that I've done through here. So it would still do the extrusions. It would still do all those other features. It's just the body would have moved over. Super handy to have this timeline feature. I don't see any other islands that are just floating around and going to be a super big nuisance besides this one right here. Yeah, that's the only island that I really have that's going to be hard to replicate. Actually, no. This little guy is also going to be relatively hard. That one's just not going to make it, so I'm going to go ahead and just extrude you and cut you down. Yeah, okay. I'll go ahead and do that for these. Just because it's going to save us headache later on. That one might survive, so I'll give it. If it breaks off, I don't really care. Yeah, and that should be it. Okay, so now we are all set to save and slice. I'm going to go ahead and take some pictures real quick while I can see that everything is colored the exact way that I want. The way that I do that is I turn this on its side so I can get this as blown up as possible. And then I would use a snipping tool and take some pictures, but I'm currently using the snipping tool to record, so that's probably not exactly recommended right now. So instead, I'm just going to go and save this so nothing else changes for me. And then I'm going to go ahead and get some of these boys. Now I can save these in whatever order I want because my file explorer is going to automatically sort them. So that's nice and convenient. Temporary 3D printing. Let's go ahead and make a new folder being the 33rd. Okay. Open that boy up and save this. Bada bing, bada boom. Now go through, save as mesh, STL, yada, yada, yada. And the names are all going to be perfect because we've already named them through the system. Okay. 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 Come on. Come on. Come on. You can do it. You can do it, baby. Yeah. Oh, nope, not copy. There we go. Perfect. Okay. Now if I go into my temporary 3D folder and I go to 33rd, I can actually see that I do have everything saved. 1 to 23. Perfect. So I'm just going to go ahead and minimize this. And then I'm going to call this good.